Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami, powered by 786 Sports. Your first stop for all things Inter Miami, which I just said. But Inter Miami beat Columbus Crew. I almost said Christopher Columbus. Columbus Crew 1-0 today in the battle for the East, and Inter Miami now jumps atop the standings. Before we begin, a huge shout out to our chief Heron Heads, Chow and Mari V. Thank you so much for the continued generous support. And if you'd like to support us on Patreon, you will find a link in the description wherever you are listening. For those of you watching live on YouTube, thank you for stopping by, and be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you enjoy the show. So, like I was saying, Inter Miami beat Columbus today 1-0 in a not so dominant fashion, but we'll get into all of that. The first thing I really want to know is, Jose, were the kids put to bed early today for the game?
Absolutely, they were put to bed. It was time to go. I mean, it was it was nap time around 3, and I would say they were in bed and then they woke up. That's how it goes. Unfortunately, with kids.
As they do.
Very good. So, immediate reaction, guys. What were your thoughts as the 90 minutes ended? Because we're a couple hours removed now from the match ending.
I mean, I feel like we stole a victory there. We stole 3 points, even though we had an early goal against them. It just felt like not only the equalizer was coming, but the winning goal. Like you felt like they were gonna come in bunches. So the fact that we were able to sneak out of there with a clean sheet, a win, like it's kudos to this team. And honestly, the first time I think we've ever seen that many defenders be thrown on the pitch at the same time. That was something.
Well, I think that's also you're on mute. I think I don't know. It's one of those things also, Dave, that like we did, or I don't know who said that dominating the portion, like that it wasn't a dominant performance. But the thing is, I think we also kind of made it that way, right? When we're subbing all these defensive guys out there, we're playing five on our back line, and all of a sudden we're doing like somewhat of a low block, and we're parking the bus. At the second half, it felt like we're just parking the bus. That's what it felt like. And we did it, and we unfortunately are not very good at it. We gave a lot of potential. Tie balls that were in the box that I was like, oh my god, these guys are gonna score. These guys are gonna score, and you felt like that pretty much the whole game, right? Like in the second half, and it was like a barrage of just open shots on goal that it was sailing on us. It was sailing on them. Luckily for us, but man, it was rough. Diego Rossi had a few opportunities that but was clenched. I was like, oh my god.
Look, there's parking the bus and there's whatever Miami did tonight.
Slamming the e-brake.
Yeah, whatever you want to call that. That's what they did, because they put out literally actually not every center back. They had Sailor wasn't there, but he wasn't on the roster. So
we left Messi out there, which is weird, right? Like, if you're gonna park the bus.
So someone has to be out there to attack at some point, right? Just in case. Him and Telasco are the only attackers that were left out there, to be honest. And Fafa, actually. Fafa. Yeah. But man, that was a interesting match. It was pressure. For all the first half, honestly, for both teams, was just pressure all the way through. Columbus was just all over us in the beginning, and it kind of died out as the match went through, as expected. You can't just keep that pressure on the whole match. But it was awesome, man. To me, it was one of the best matches as far as like entertainment goes. It wasn't one of the best matches Inter Miami has had this season, but as far as entertainment goes, I thought it was great. It had a lot of like potential goals, a lot of great runs, great defensive stops from both sides. Columbus's goalkeeper didn't have to work too much today, unfortunately. Ustadi, on the other hand, had to work a bunch today. He made some really nice stops. He was in the right areas at the right times, which is something that we keep applauding him for, and he keeps on doing it. Everyone was joking in our Discord. If you're not in it, join our Discord. We were joking about his age. He looked like an old man out there, but shoot, I wish I looked like an old man like that, because it's amazing what he was doing tonight. So it was a good match overall. It's good we came out with the win. We're still undefeated. We're the only ones left right now. So whoever has anything else to say about why is Miami first or why is Miami the best, this and that, this is why we keep beating the top tier teams.
I mean, I don't know. I know that Ustadi played very well. He was, like you said, made some really nice stops again with the amazing hands, being able to corral balls and not spill them on diving attempts. But Columbus really was some really poor finishing today.
That's
They
true.
a lot of open looks and just not being able to put the ball in frame. I feel like if they put 50% of those strikes on frame, one of them finds a way in because they had some really, really, really outrageously good chances that should have resulted in something for them. It should have shown for. And then going into the type of game, I think a lot of that had to do with the condensed playing space. Playing in that football stadium was really a narrow pitch out there. So yeah, it did leave for a lot of back and forth. But I don't know if I enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed other games. Like I don't know if I found this game to be super. It was thrilling in the sense that I was holding on to my butt the entire second half. Like that's a fact. But I don't know. I prefer the butt whoopings than the butt clenchings.
Well, and going off of what you were saying, David, Columbus had 3.14 xg. We had 0.86 xg.
No, we
That's
didn't
a
have chances. I feel like we had very, very few chances
very
out
minimal
there.
chances. It's like we're okay with what transpired, which what transpired is crazy to me, right? Like how we scored what we scored. There's no bet that I would have ever put money on with that result. I would have never guessed that Suarez would be ripping it to the right wing. The cello just beautifully just like wraps it
Just
around,
dying.
just just stops it right there beautifully, just whips it right back into the box for a crema header. Like come on,
Diving header, no less.
Was that on your
all of these things that I just mentioned. Is that something you would have expected?
I
was
don't
that
think
on
Crema
anyone's
expected
bingo
it.
card tonight?
Crema didn't expect it.
Crema stood up
He
like
couldn't believe
I
it.
missed it. I missed it.
He for sure thought he missed that 100%. He held his head like this on the ground. He looked and he goes, "Oh, okay." Hey, this is a good question. Speaking of the way we played tonight, 1-0. What does it say about Miami that they felt this way? This was the best way to beat Columbus.
I don't think they
I
felt
think
that
the
way
question
coming in.
is, what does it say that Inter Miami is still undefeated despite playing the way they played?
Yeah, we're just waiting for it to click on offense. What about that? Like that doesn't make any sense to me on the attack. That's the part of the game that hasn't really clicked for this team. And I don't think that this was their plan going into the match. I don't think they expected to go up one and then park the bus. That
Like
could
Dave,
not have been the plan. I think they realized the way the game was playing out that they were not going to have many chances with this condensed field. So I think they said we have the lead now. Let's start making these substitutions and really muck this game up and bring it to a screeching halt. I don't even know if that worked. I don't know if adding all these defenders opened it up more for the other team. If people were playing out of position, we had Toto playing CDM. It was towards the end of the game, and he was just playing like a Tasmanian devil, just attacking everybody. I don't know how he didn't get a card. It was interesting. It was definitely.
out of it, it's
It's
nuts,
gonna
man.
give Mascherano like confidence in his moves going forward if he's able to do what he did today with his decisions and come out with a win. Like how are we still not seeing Obando? Like there's a lot of decisions that I just don't get yet.
Like when I saw when we pulled Luis Suarez and we were already kind of committing to the heavy parking of the bus. That's what it felt like in the second half. It was mostly that. And one thing I was realizing was I was like, we're trying to swing it out. There's a time there, and it was funny because like soon after they subbed them off, we're there parking the bus, and we're doing a great job. And I think Crema was able to bring it out to the left wing. He hit it perfectly up the pitch on the left wing, and Suarez had it. He had a bunch of room to roam on that left wing side, but he stopped and looked around. That as soon as that happened, I was like, two things. I thought I was like, okay, we're trying to park the bus, we're trying to do that, but then we're also going to have somebody that's able to take the ball off the pitch and kind of relieve us a little bit, right? Because otherwise, what are we doing? We're just waiting on a barrage of strikes inside of the box, which and I never finished, by the way. 12 shots in the box for Columbus, 4 only for us. Like that most of that was in the second half. It was just 12 shots in the box. Like what are we waiting for? You know what I'm saying? So at that point, you need somebody to take the ball and just run to the pitch and give us some sort of a chance to create some offense. And when Suarez was there, man, it was rough, man. It was rough. It was a beautiful pass that he did, beautiful pass, and ultimately that was the game winner, right? That pass to people probably look at the Cello pass, but that was a really rough, right on the spot pass that he got the Cello to
He received it, pivoted, and just let it rip. And I was like, wow, that's a ballsy pass. And then it was perfect to Cello, and Cello one-timed it to Crema. I mean, every aspect of that was top notch. Is really, really, really impressive.
Can I meet those hair just fluff around?
Just you don't expect it. It's from three very, very unexpected sources.
Suarez knew exactly where he was going to go before he even got that pass, because right before he got the pass, he looks to see where that side of the field is at. Then he turns back around, he gets the pass, immediately he just sends it off. He knew exactly where Cello was going to be and where he was going. So he knew, and he laid that pass perfectly on Cello. Thank God.
And he was angry when he got subbed out. Mike V just talked about it. If you guys watch it, he was pissed.
He's always mad.
So
no matter what, he's always mad.
Angry.
Biting his own teammates. Poor Alba almost got bit the other day.
The only one that was really making the runs that you're sort of talking about, Jose, was Allende early.
Right.
Allende early was making the runs that were like going in behind the defense. He got fed a couple of them, and man, it was really frustrating early. We could have had more chances, but everyone was trying to force the pass to Messi, which sometimes is fine, but sometimes you got to just shoot. And there was a number of times where players could have just shot and they just opted not to and tried to get too cute and find like the perfect pass. And it just led to turnovers, silly turnovers, needless turnovers. But so many times you're just like, just shoot the ball, put it on frame, muck it up kind of, and see what happens.
The worst of those is the Allende pass to Cello.
That's what I was gonna say.
Oh my God.
The fact that he had the
confidence. You're talking about the one that he headed it back into the ball. I was like, what is happening?
In the beginning of the match, the fact that he had
hurt my soul.
And Cello to do that is insane. I wouldn't have expected that. He's made crazier shots, let's say it that way, than the shot that he had in front of him, and he chose to pass it to Cello. And then Cello does some crazy other pass. I think he was trying to get it to Messi. I don't know.
Well, at that point, I was just angry. I was like, what is happening? Like, why did he try to head it in? Then all of a sudden, there was another one, a crazy header that I saw during the game when it was Messi and Crema on the right side. And they had just sidestepped the goalkeeper. And the goalkeeper
was in goodness. When it was
and,
the open net.
Hey, Crema, we'll get, that's fine. He had props to him today. He had a great game. It is what it is. Today was one of those games where I was like, good, thank you.
Yeah,
great game.
Even without the goal,
30 yards out, it seems, right? 30 yards out, and he just says, I got the neck for this one.
They were right in the corner of the penalty box.
Back in the net, baby.
It was so far, and the worst part is that Messi could have received it and taken a shot.
Well,
it would have been a difficult shot.
Messi's reaction to that, he was like,
yeah, correct. A fitting reaction.
Just looked around and what happened there. Why'd you do that?
It was so bizarre. So many little chances like that. And what's weird to me is Allende seemed to be getting a lot of success coming from the left-hand side. And then at some point, he and Crema switched, and they sort of switched sides. Benja scored the goal from coming in from the left side, but everyone was sort of rotated over on that play. But after that sort of rotation, Allende sort of disappeared in that match, and he never really popped up again, especially in the second half, and then aptly got substituted eventually for a defender. But I thought that was kind of an interesting wrinkle because it worked to some extent. Obviously, we got the goal from Benja, but Allende sort of faded away when it felt like he was the most dangerous player on the pitch for the first 15, 20 minutes. So I thought that was kind of an interesting little wrinkle to this game. And I'm not really sure I guess it was a net positive, but Allende just seems so much more dangerous. I guess Benja was dangerous after the switch. I don't know. That was kind of interesting to me.
But didn't the switch happen after the fact? At halftime. That's
if you're looking at Benja's goal, if you're looking at Benja's goal, he came in basically down the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it was after that. Again, everyone was rotated on that play because Suarez was obviously back receiving the pass, so everyone sort of switched over. I mean, Benja sort of switched to the central position, Cello obviously on the wing. It was just kind of weird. But then after that, I really noticed that Allende was playing from the right side specifically, and it just seemed like
disjointed.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like it flowed well after the fact. But that's a hyper specific thing that I'm bringing up. Did we play good defense? I can't tell. It's a very deceiving, confusing clean sheet.
The clean sheet says
no.
yes, but the
Let's say
3.86 XG does not.
It's also it's a weird thing to ask, like to answer, because we specifically went for the clean sheet and we got it. We did that. That was a decision that was made. Like Dave says, it must have been Dave. Like I don't think, like you said earlier. You said that you don't think this was part of the game plan.
I don't think they went into this one expecting to win 1-0.
But but the reason why I think more so on that is because I don't think when have we ever got like an early-ish goal? We don't really.
This season, I think we started off with more leads than last season. Last season, I know we always had to roar back, but this season we have had leads.
Maybe we got the lead today, and we said, you know what, it's a narrow field. Let's play it to our advantage. Let's make it a little bit rougher for them. Our offense isn't necessarily flowing like it was earlier in the season. Let's do what's been working for us, our defense, and go from there. Now we've all been talking about their great offense, Columbus, right? They've been putting up points, putting up goals. It's just one of those things that he probably played the advantage.
Yeah, I think he just saw the way that this game was going. He saw the pitch conditions, the size of the field, the way that they were playing us, and said, "This is going to be it." And I don't know if I really agree with that. I think it feels better to get a second goal than it is to hope and pray that they don't put one on frame. But it stinks because we had the opportunity, many opportunities, really, to get a second goal. And it kind of put us in that situation where, like, you don't want to play on your back heels. Like, that's not the way to win in this league.
I feel like we've seen that all season, though. Like, maybe not for the whole second half, or maybe not the whole last 60 minutes, but it feels like every match where we carry a lead with 30 minutes to go, we're constantly like on the verge of collapse.
But never the reaction of putting this many defenders.
Oh, correct.
That's never been like they've never completely abandoned the
so
offensive
early
side
too. I felt like he parked the bus super early. I mean, usually you see that like at the 80th minute, when you're ready to just kind of call the game quits. But you saw like at the 70th minute already, you started seeing a couple defenders coming in, and like the 75th minute, I think, is when everyone came in. So I thought it was relatively early, especially Mascherano had to see what we saw too with the defense. They were letting guys through. They were getting shots off, not on goal, but they were getting clean shots off. To kind of park the bus so early and just call it quits and not try to get maybe that second goal, it's kind of questionable so early, But it worked out. So what do we know, right?
What do we know? It was hard to watch at times because we couldn't string like 3 passes together without turning it over. And we had that little stretch at like the 82nd minute where we held the ball for like 3 minutes, and it was like such a relief to just get Columbus back in their side of the field and hold the ball for a little bit, and then straight back to it for like 10 minutes to finish the game of constant pressure from Columbus. And just the stoppage time, Columbus had some incredible chances. I mean, Gazdag had a crazy chance. There was the little flick, the little back heel.
Yep.
There was some really good chances, man. And Ustadi definitely made some good saves, but I don't know if either of those 2 chances were on target. I don't know if he gets to them, because the Gazdag one definitely would have gotten past him. It just happened to go wide of the net. But it's a weird one, because like we beat Columbus, and you gotta beat these top teams by whatever means. But it's like another game where we're like, the offense didn't do what we expect.
It's an icky 3 points is what that is. It's like, ugh, you know what it is?
We got away with it.
It's a Cleveland 3. That's what it is. That's how you feel coming away from 3 points from Cleveland.
You take that. Honestly, you like today. Yeah, it's whatever. It was whatever, but we got us 3 points.
You take that. you take that against these caliber teams, not against Toronto or against Revolution or whatever. You take that against this caliber type of team. Against LFC, you take it against Vancouver. God, I hope we win. I don't care how we win, as long as we win. So you take it against these kind of teams. If this was any sort of a lesser opponent, you don't take that. You're not satisfied with that, to be honest.
Now, let me ask you a question. Now, this is the question that I was thinking about. If you are Columbus, are you sitting looking at this game and saying, are you sad, or are you kind of saying we could take these guys?
They're pissed. They just
have
dropped
to
3
be
points.
pissed. Yeah.
They feel like they should. If I'm Columbus, I'm furious that we couldn't find the back of the net, not just once, but multiple times.
Yeah,
They had
so
such clear
one of the most
chances.
SG we've ever played against.
Like put the roles reversed. If we had lost to them the way that they lost to us, how mad would we be?
No, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like no, hold on. What I'm thinking is they're not as good as we think they are. As people say they are, we're not as good. I think that
Yeah, but you
ultimately
still lost.
Finding like a silver lining moral victory.
We lost, but what I'm saying is we're gonna see them down the road. If I'm Columbus, we're gonna see them down the road, and they're not, and Messi, he does bleed, and they, we can take them. That's what I'm thinking. Now, as Inter Miami fans right now, we're saying we'll see. Maybe we'll do the same thing to you again next time. Who knows? We'll see. Ultimately, it's all beautiful and I love your storytelling of what could be, but ultimately, it's not what happened. We won, and if we beat you like this every single time, I'd be happy.
Speaking
I would be
of
happy.
Messi,
I would be
Mad
happy
at
too.
you can be really mad watching the game next time as well.
Speaking of Messi bleeding, what did you guys think about Messi today?
It's rough. I think it was a rough game, for probably the worst game that I've seen him play for us in a while.
We can get into man of the match and least of the match now if you want.
Or you could answer my question.
I think it was a very
I know the answer,
average
sorry.
game for Messi, where he had the really good chance at the end of the first half where he curled it just wide.
Yeah, that was a nice
And
shot.
that was probably his highlight of the match, to be honest.
Crazy.
Because outside of that, he had some really nice runs, attacking runs, and I think he made the correct decision on most of them, with the exception of the one where he had Suarez out wide, where Suarez sort of faked the shot and then passed it to Messi, and then Messi got a shot off after dribbling around like 5 people, but he had Suarez and someone on the right side.
On the right side. My brother actually said, "You should have passed it." I'm like, "Shut up. You don't say what he should do."
Yeah, getting the shot off and winning a corner off of it still was a net positive, but I think it was, for Messi standards, average or maybe below average game, because really in the second half, and it's a byproduct of the way we played, but the second half, I don't know if he touched the ball more than like 10 times. So he did all his damage in the first half.
But even then, like, he took some of his corners. He had that one really nice one to Alba that Alba just flat out missed. But he had some, I feel like some of his corners today were just not threatening, Like he started sailing some, and it felt like we didn't remember how we've been saying that the Messi we've seen lately has been this really tenacious Messi that has like the knife in his mouth, ready to go on the hunt. That didn't feel like the Messi that we saw today. It really didn't. I didn't get that notion. Maybe he's feeling something. Maybe he doesn't want to be in Cleveland, which I wouldn't put it against him. But it's tough. It's tough. Like I said, it was an icky 3. They got the 3, and that's all that matters.
He got off the bus, looked around, said, "Why am I here?
We gotta get the hell out of here." He's probably jealous. That's why he didn't move after Suarez got subbed off. He's like, I don't want to play. I don't want to be here either. That's why he beelined out of the building the second the game was over. He's just asking for a gas mask. Get out of here. This place stinks.
Yeah, and then there's the rumors of him possibly being injured. They say he wasn't moving a lot in the second half, which he normally doesn't move a lot. He kind of just walks around the pitch. And then they said he went straight to the locker room. So there's theories out there. Mascherano did say in his press conference that he was okay. Take that with whatever you want, Inter Miami says a lot of things about their injured players, and it's usually not true. So we'll see. I mean, we didn't see anything glaring out there as far as an injury goes. So we'll see the next few days. This week's big. We got CONCACAF coming up, so hopefully he gets his rest and he's ready to rock and roll for Thursday.
So, Jose, are you ready for least of the match and most of the match?
Sure, I will. I'm ready. Most of the match. Who do you guys got?
I'm gonna go with Ustadi because he didn't allow the goal and he made saves.
For
I'm
most
gonna
of the match.
say Kremaski for the goal, and he played decently well. He was moving around pretty well. A couple bonehead moves on the ball, but for the most part, I think scoring the goal carries massive weight.
You both picked the guys that I was gonna say.
There's
So
one more. There's one more with a really nice stat.
So I'll just go with. I don't want to say it because he was the guy that I said I didn't want to see on the pitch in the preview.
That's why we left him for you.
All right, let's go with Cello. I'll put Cello in there. He had the assist. He played okay defense all match. He had some decent runs. Oh god, I feel so icky saying all of this. He had some decent runs in the attack. So let's go with Cello.
Well, so you're wrong. It was not Cello, and
I told you that.
He's not man of the match. He was a 7.3. He was accompanied with Messi with a 7.3. Very okay. Stat wise,
below average for Messi.
Yeah. Man of the match.
Pretty good game for Cello.
Man of the match was a tie. It was Ustadi at 7.8. Obviously, clean sheet. It's awesome. It's literally, how many do we have last year? How many do we have this year? It's freaking crazy.
However many games Drake didn't play last year is the amount of clean sheets.
Remember Dos Santos got clean sheets. Ustadi got clean sheet. It was rough. It was rough. Every time that he wasn't out there, we had a decent shot at his clean sheet.
Then you had Alba 7.8. Which, do you imagine if you would have gotten that? If
he didn't hit the ball sideways, you mean?
Yes.
What sucks is that he usually gets pretty good contact on those plays. Usually, and
today
it's just.
It was such a perfect ball by Messi, just putting it right on where his foot would have been. And he saw it too, man. You saw his face after. He was so angry. He was so angry, man. But it's funny. Like I was watching the game with family, and they were saying, what are we gonna do when Alba's gone? Like this guy's just everywhere. He's in offensively. He starts the attack. Defensively,
Noah Allen. What are you talking about? What are we gonna do?
The Jose echo chamber is crazy.
I agreed. I was like, you guys are right. I don't know what we're gonna do. This guy's amazing.
I was just writing the stuff down. I was like, this is great material.
It's great stuff. It's great back and forth.
We have Captain Noah. I don't know what to tell you, dude.
No, he's not. He's never gonna fill that shoe. He's never gonna fill that shoe. He'll be a center back. He'll never be a left back. Bright 7.6. You guys feel about him?
Great to see him in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Great to see him in the starting lineup, and played very well. I gotta say, like he played very well.
He had a really nice run, and I was like, it could have been dangerous, and there's nowhere for him to go with the ball. Nobody ran with him. I was like, where the hell is everyone? And that's part of the problem when you have like Messi and Suarez as your main up guys, and if it's a breakaway like that, they don't run with it.
Talking about that, he was weaving through traffic at one point.
Yeah,
and I was funny,
and he skipped it past the defender, and it was great.
Crazy. I was thinking to myself, this guy's has always been a bowling ball, and maybe he's progressing. You know what I'm saying? Like we're seeing it. He's getting a little better.
And I said in the Discord when it happened, I'm like, I'm okay with him making that run, and he's totally earned.
It's the right play. What are you gonna do? Stop again? Like that's the MO of this club is you take the ball and then you stop, and that's not how you get people on their heels.
No.
Jose, would you agree with this comment? We missed Robert Taylor today.
No, we won, so we're fine. We would have won if he was on. No, I mean, look, Robert Taylor. You know what? Maybe he would have brought where I felt like Segovia. Somebody had asked earlier about Segovia. Which he's nowhere to be found. Just subbed on. He didn't play much. Yeah, can we talk about Segovia? Is he okay? I don't know if he's okay because in the sense of he's not driving. It seems with the team right now. It seems like we're not on the same wavelength, which we were earlier in the year, which is weird. I think we miss Segovia more than we miss Robert Taylor, to be honest, because I've never seen Robert Taylor get in sync like we've seen Segovia when he's in sync. So I would like Segovia to get back on track.
After he came back from the international break is when he wasn't himself again. I don't know what happened out there, if he's tired or what the hell it is, but
What did they tell him?
I don't know. But he hasn't been the same.
Yeah. Speaking of not the same, we'll get to that. Crema, not the same.
Wait, are you gonna let us do Lisa the match, or you're not there yet?
No, we're not. I want to talk about Crema. We can't not talk about Crema and his little fluffy hair with a header. Are you kidding me? How'd you guys see him?
Scored a goal. It was great.
No. But
I thought even before the goal, he was having a decent game. He was playing a lot better than what we've been seeing this season, and really last season too.
He showed up. He didn't look lost. There's games out there that he just looks like he's constantly making the wrong choice, and that was not that today.
Yeah, I agreed. On both defense and attack, I thought he was playing very well all match, and then he just made the goal, which is beautiful. Yeah, Mike V says this is the first game Cremita doesn't look like a newborn giraffe. 100%.
Yeah, and he was moving the ball the right way. It seemed like he was in sync with the team. So, which he hasn't been up to this point. It almost feels like he's been with a deer in headlights. Just just not knowing where we're going to go with the ball and just not helping the cause. But today
still had some of that today, and a couple instances of just parking the ball and instead of just taking it, like he spun away from somebody, and then instead of just taking off with it, he just stopped and waited for the team to catch up. And it's just like, for once, do what Bright did and just take off. Like, you have confidence in yourself. Like, you're a professional athlete. Go be one. And but again, like, for the most part, he played well today. He played with confidence for the most part, and he hasn't been doing that the last few games. So that's a step in the right direction for him.
If we can get the old Krematsky back with all that confidence, that'll be huge for the team. Huge. We need more players like that are getting the offense going. That brings me to the least of the match. Who do you guys have?
Wait, but what was Krematsky's rating?
7.5.
Okay.
So Ustadi was man of the match.
He tied with Alba.
Okay.
Least of the match.
I would say Lujan is going
to
be.
I was going to say Lujan. Yeah.
I'll say Allende. Because at the end of the day, he did nothing.
Lujan,
he looked good.
I saw him get smoked a couple times, Lujan.
Yeah, I'm saying Allende.
Yeah. Again, but why are you saying Lujan? Because he got smoked?
He looked a little lost. He looked turned around a couple times, and I feel like every time there was a good cut in, it was mostly his fault. So when we were getting beat for those dangerous chances, it felt like often it was on Lujan.
Fair enough. Who we have is Allende, 6.2. And then we had Suarez at 6.8.
Allende is much lower than I expected. I didn't even think of Suarez, but that would have been a good nominee. But Allende, that's way lower than I expected. I thought it would be bad, but not that bad, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't think he played that bad.
Because he started well, but then he totally disappeared.
Lujan, for reference, had a 7.2 also.
It's a clean sheet. That helps. That does help. I should have thought better than to go with it. I should have done an attacker because our main attackers didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, Allende, I felt a few times where he had an opportunity early on in the game, and then I feel like he was a turnover machine. Just I don't know. I didn't really care for his game, and I haven't really cared for his game lately. It's not somebody that we saw earlier on in the year getting going, and similar to Segovia. I feel both of them. I don't know if it's just maybe we're playing tactically different. I don't know if we're playing them differently, but like they're both kind of off right now.
I think today a lot of it was that we switched him over. We flipped him to the other side of the field, and he looked a little lost after that. But I mean, last match, I liked what Allende brought. He came in as a sub, and I feel like we became more dangerous almost immediately when he came on. So I think he affects the club in a positive way, in a net positive, while Segovia has kind of been like a misfit. including today. Today he didn't really do anything for me, but I have a tough time putting too much credence on guys who come on late. So I give Segovia a pass today, and they played him out of his normal position. So I think we have somebody in either in the Discord or in the chat who's been clamoring for him to come in as a 10 and kind of having Messi play as a false 9. Like that might like open him up. But I mean, we'll see. I mean, kind of asking Mascherano seems to be tinkering now a little bit, and I think we're gonna start seeing some interesting lineups in MLS play.
Speaking of,
oh, sorry.
go.
And I was gonna say, and on Suarez, I brought him up at 6.8 because I always put people that I thought had an interesting game. And I spoke about it earlier in the podcast, but I feel like now I'm starting to see him mature, like his age. I'm definitely noticing just like second half was terrible. Just it was very bad, especially when we're trying to park the bus. Somebody had mentioned and Noah Dice. We need to play the young Atletico Madrid player. I was for that. Well, when I noticed that we're just trying to park the bus, I was like, I'll just have a very athletic kid that can possibly outrun somebody. Just put him out there, see what can happen. Then I think they chose to put Segovia at that point. I think it would have been funner to see Anawando out there. That way we could possibly see him make mistakes. You can make mistakes at this point. We're up. We don't have anyone up there anyways. You might as well just see what you can do.
So they put Fafa in there because they have faith in him defending set pieces and things like that, which is crazy because Fafa's not very big, but he plays big in those situations. So that was interesting.
We play, I believe, starting Thursday. We play 3 matches in like 7 days, 8 days or so. Obando's got to start that middle game for me. Like, enough's enough, kind of.
And what's the point? Like I start being a disservice to the kid. Like this is somebody who's getting bought up to play for La Liga, and he has a lot of promise.
Yeah, and the reason he's loaned is to get playtime.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if we don't see him start the next MLS match, that's in the middle of the 2 CONCACAF Champions Cup matches, what are we doing?
Yeah, you got to restart.
Like, I'm not understanding the strategy. Why are you even signing him?
They may not have any faith in him at that point. They brought him out there and he's not doing.
They give him 15 minutes. Like, I don't buy that. I don't buy that assessment period of like 15 minutes of senior level playing time. Like, I don't buy that.
And it just
you gotta give him a run.
Would you have put him in today?
We were talking about putting him in the second, like at the start of the second half. Yeah, 100%. I would have put him in today.
I would have put him in, like Julio said, at the start of the second half, and I would have put him in if we decided to park the bus. I think he would have been much more effective out there than Suarez at parking the bus. You would have had a young player out there in the attack that would have been able to press a little bit up front and just chase after the ball a little bit. Essentially, Suarez and Messi out there, when you're trying to do that at the end of the game, is pretty useless. They're not going to be going all out at the end of the day to defend and to press and to do all the stuff that you need to be done at that point of the game. And I don't know. I just don't understand why they can't put Obando out there.
Like, I refuse to believe that he could possibly be so bad in training. Like, he has to have talent to be scouted by an Atletico Madrid to then get loaned to Inter Miami. Like, it's not like we didn't do due diligence when signing him. It wasn't like we were like, oh, they signed this guy, let's get him on loan. Like, obviously there was due diligence done before we signed him. So in my mind, there's no way that's disappeared. His talent has disappeared and he's not good enough to get on the pitch. Like, you have to rest Suarez, which I guess he got time to sit on the bench today, but there has to be a rotation of him done because it's been what was it? It was like 30 plus days when we did an episode last week. So it's getting on like a month and a half with him not scoring from open play. And something has to change so that we get out of this scoring funk. So get Obando on there.
Maybe Obando has a case of the South Beach flu, or I guess for Lauderdale's equivalent, the Las Olas flu or something. Who the hell knows? But I mean, he's a young guy. South Florida's a fun place.
He's too young.
Dave,
true.
if he
Yeah,
was in
true.
Cleveland, he was in Cleveland last night. Like, come on, what flu is he getting there?
He's hungover from the flu he got in South Florida.
Still in Cleveland?
I mean, there's no fresh air there, so it's not like he can just breathe in the fresh lake air.
And like, if we're being honest, next match is Vancouver, right, on Thursday. Do we trust him to be out there to start? Absolutely not. We don't trust him
Home
to
or
start.
away?
No, away.
It's away in Vancouver. I don't trust him to start, to be real. At the end of the match, are you going to give him some time? Let's see how the match goes, maybe. But where I see him really playing is the following match, which is going to be against Dallas. Western opponent, not really a super important match. That's a match. If we're ever going to lose a match at this point in the season, it's probably that one that we can't afford to lose. And I think that's the perfect. It makes even more sense than Chicago that we were clamoring for him to play. This one makes even more sense for him to play. And if we don't see him then, there's huge question marks out there for him. I don't understand. So we'll see. The next week is going to be telling.
I totally agree. That's my mindset as well. Is that Dallas match that's in between the two CONCACAF Cup matches? It's the second match in because we played Thursday and this match is on Sunday, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 matches in 4 days. For me, Obando has to be in that match against Dallas.
Yep.
Figure it out. Any other stats that you have stored up, Jose, that you haven't gotten to yet?
No, that was it.
All right. Well, we've heard some feedback, and people seem to want to know what's going on in the rest of the league. So I hate to put you on the spot here, Chris, but do you have some scoreboards or standings that we can look at? Obviously, Inter Miami jumped up, and we leapfrogged Columbus in the standings, still with the game in hand, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So we leapfrogged them on goal differential.
Yeah, so
right?
we leapfrogged them on goal differential. That's why we're ahead of them. But some interesting matches have happened. Cincinnati right now is up 2-1, and they're jumped us right now. And then also Charlotte jumped us at 19 points. So we got Charlotte at 19, Cincinnati at 19, and then we got Miami at 18, Columbus at 18. So
we have a game in hand with those 2 teams that are above us.
Right, we have a game in hand.
Okay.
So that's always a positive. Are the games still going on right now? Charlotte already. Man, Charlotte killed San Diego. Wow.
The Galaxy lost again. I watched that match. Brandon Vasquez scored a late goal for Austin.
Championship curse, man. Championship curse. And then
unprecedented start to the season for defending champs.
So Cincinnati is in a really good one right now with Chicago. They're up 2-1, 71st minute. So that could get interesting if Chicago's able to tie it up there. So we're hoping for that one. But hey, Miami's still in good shape right now, to be honest. We look good as far as the standings go.
I mean, again, I feel like we're still undefeated in spite of our struggles. Yeah. And that's a good thing. Like that, to me, that's the biggest takeaway is that we've come out of this first 2 months of the season essentially unscathed. There's been frustrating dropping of points against Toronto and against Chicago, but I mean, we're the only undefeated team left, and we feel like we're not playing even close to our best. So to me, that's one of the biggest takeaways from today is even though Messi had a below average to average game, even though we only scored a goal, even though all of these things are wrong, we're still finding ways to get results and to get points. So that's going to benefit us later in the season when the players are even more tired, when the schedule's even more congested, because I was looking ahead and it's like a lot of weeks the rest of the way. It's multi-game weeks, like mid-week matchups, and just so many tournaments. We have the Club World Cup coming up in June. We're obviously in the middle of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. I think Leagues Cup starts up in like August. There's a lot going on for this club,
and man. Midweek MLS play starts now too. That's the other midweek fixtures that we have going on, which is insane with all of these tournaments.
I mean, we don't get a break.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about the Heron Heads.
Hey, the other thing I wanted to bring up is the Supporter Shield race. So Vancouver is actually in a tie right now, 0-0. against St. Louis. So they're first at 20 points currently if they tie. So if they lose, they'll drop down to 19 points and be tied with Charlotte and Cincinnati. Ooh, Cincinnati just scored again right now. 3-1. That's over. So much for that. Yeah, so we're in good shape, though. We're in good shape.
We are in good shape, and there's definitely stuff to improve on from today's performance, but end of the day, we did take 3 points from Columbus, and they're going to be one of our top competitors this season. So it's good to get those 3 points regardless of how they came. Again, frustrating that it didn't go better, but here we are. And next up is Vancouver on Thursday, a big one in Vancouver. Starts at 10:30 p.m. So we will discuss how we are handling that as far as coverage, but we will be doing a preview episode. I forgot when we were going to do it. Maybe Monday. I don't remember. Monday, Tuesday. We'll figure it out. Make sure you hit the
Panthers playoff starts Tuesday, so probably
that's
Monday.
right. That's right. Monday. All right. So make sure you guys are following us. Hit the subscribe button.
We have a rough week in general.
That's true. Turn on the notifications. Leave us good reviews on the audio platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Hit the like button, follow us, and thank you for tuning into the Heron Heads podcast, your first stop for all things Inter Miami, powered by 786 Sports, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.
We'll be right back.